This entire stretch of today's sitting was not intended. Mr. Speaker, when we met this morning as leaders to agree on what to do, I must admit that the leader opposite was not around, so did not understand what we even agreed to do. Mr. Speaker, you will notice that when you took the chair, the second deputy speaker actually was just about to put the question for adjournment. But because you prompted us earlier that the Attorney General was going to be coming to do some business, we knew that maybe that was why you were coming, and indeed, when you came, that's what happened. Mr. Speaker, this is what happened. We decided when we come in this morning, if the minister responsible for environment is around, we'll give her the opportunity to do the third reading. We also agreed to complete 3 reports from the Public Account Committee, which were outstanding from yesterday's 7 reports, which we took 4. So we're going to do that one as well. Mr. Speaker, that was all that we agreed to do. There was no discussion about judges. There was no discussion about anything about, tax waivers. But you know, the leader opposite is an expert in actually introducing whatever he wants to say, whether it's about biology, and his interest was in zoology. He knows how to turn, the things to his favor. Mr. Speaker, for all that he said, he was only lamenting about the fact that, truth be told, and I'm surprised he said something which Ghanaians must take note of. When they supplied this house, when they tried to take these tax waivers at the beginning, Mr. Speaker, it was almost $500 million. Ask him the question, if we had actually agreed to them, what was going to happen to all that money? No, I'm saying that when you introduce those bills in this house, if we had agreed with you, what was going to be happening to all that money? Today he's telling us that the money is just about half. But you should be apologizing to Ghanaians by actually almost compelling us to approve tax waivers, which you said later you took away materials and other things. When you were speaking, sit down. When you were speaking, I wasn't making any gestures. Sit down. So you should be clapping for the minority, for being the ones that saved Ghanaians. You should be on public platforms applauding us for being diligent in holding your feet to the fire, when you were almost reckless in compelling us to approve tax waivers which were not due to those companies. Today, you are still crying that once the economy has collapsed, under you, you are still compelling us that tax waivers are the solution. Let me tell you this. US did their election before our election. The talk on Capitol Hill and other places is that no more legislation until Trump takes office. No more legislation until Trump takes office. No, I'm saying that is those people whose democracy is older than us. That is what they are talking about. So this is it, Mr. Speaker. We were here. They hurriedly actually printed other paper addendum, Mr. Speaker, without consultation to anybody from this bench. But guess what? Patriotic as we are, we agreed. The genesis of the disagreement is this, Mr. Speaker. He agreed that we will take item 1, A and B on the other paper addendum. He conveniently allowed us to lay the one that is in his interest. And what is the first one? The GNPC work program, which has been in abeyance for all this while. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, once that was laid, and my colleague, the ranking on Oyome, was about to lay the report on AFCONS, he quickly jumped on his feet and said, no, that one cannot be laid. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, he actually produced an other paper addendum which included that. In other words, he baited us to add it, but all he wanted was other paper addendum item 1A. He never wanted to do the B. Mr. Speaker, that is what generated the argument. And I said that if you wanted us to do the GNPC agreement, then allow the Minister for Environment to also do the third reading, Mr. Speaker. This is the genesis of the disagreement. So all these lectures about the virtues of tax waivers and then the virtues of Supreme Court Justice, Mr. Speaker. Who in this country believes that the Supreme Court is lacking, judges? Who in this country will believe that there's crisis at the Supreme Court because we can't find enough judges to deal with cases? In fact, some people will say there are too many. So where from this idea that the country is in any peril because this side has decided to block anything? Mr. Speaker, I'm beginning to find out what is the interest of some people on this side, hell-bent on the fact that we must grant these tax waivers to this crony company, when the government that is going to take over is going to inherit tons of problems. Mr. Speaker, I attended one transition meeting yesterday. Road Ministry alone is capable of leaving a commitment of 150 billion Ghana cedis. 150 billion Ghana cedis. Commitment on road alone, education, health, others are not part of it. We are in crisis. The side this way should be calm and pray to God that we will be able to navigate the next 4 years, being able to even pay the salary of members of parliament in the 9th parliament. We shouldn't be just talking as if everything is hunky-dory. So, Mr. Speaker, we are not in any hurry to be enjoying anything. We know we have been put in a deep hole. President Mahama is going to inherit a crisis economy. Even doomsday has started already. So, Mr. Speaker, let me repeat what my leader said. Our side will not today, tomorrow, approve or support the approval of the tax waivers or the judges. Whatever it will take in this house, we shall put forward a robust prevention of that, Mr. Speaker, lawfully. We shall not be part of this. In any case, you are wondering how come you lost so miserably. Could it be because of your posture? When we tell you don't do something because we are the government, we'll do it. Are you not surprised at the level of loss? Maybe that is why. Do your introspection. Don't push Ghanaians any further. You use state institutions to bastardize everything, and the Ghanaians are punished you by saying that that is not the way forward. Yet you haven't learned your lessons. You haven't learned your lessons. You try to use the judiciary, the immigration, the defense against the people of this country. Listen. And then they use, listen. When your leader was speaking, everybody was quiet. When your leader was speaking, we heard everything he said in silence. I am saying that whilst you may be okay because you've been in government for 8 years, the rest of Ghanaians, those people who have lost their jobs when their banks were closed, those people who have been sacked, those people who have been killed at polling stations are not happy. So I'm saying that perhaps you should reflect on the fact that whilst losing election is nothing, your loss is actually monumental. Have you reflected on that? I believe your posture here, when everything we tell you, you say we are the government, you continue doing it. That is why you lost that much. Reflect on that. Majority leader. You notice today is the first time I'm calling you majority leader for months. I want to give you that so that you can go home with it. Though you told everybody that it is spiritually unwise for you to be called a minority leader, that is your seat if they make you the leader. This will be your seat. At the moment, you are a minority leader in transition. I am told that you are even begging your party to make you a minority leader today. Is it no longer spiritually against your spirit? All of a sudden, your spirit will allow you to be a minority leader.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I will conclude by saying that, Mr. Speaker, these two issues are not about what the Ghanaian businessman needs. It's for government to take a hold on our fiscal front, our forex. That is what the Ghanaian businessman wants, not the granting of dodgy tax waivers to crony companies. And in another case, we never believe that the Supreme Court is lacking personnel in terms of their judges. So to say that if we don't grant these two nominees, that is your business. So, Mr. Speaker, I will leave it here. But to say that we have done anything wrong, that is not true. And indeed, majority leader, you came in when we have agreed on what to do, and you are coming to introduce things that were never agreed. And I will encourage you, if you come to work tomorrow, come at the time that we attend conclave, so that you don't jump in at the middle, try to make those who came ahead of you look like they didn't have any good agreement. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.